Hi guys, and welcome to the Ace Tanker for the T-44, a tank I rebought recently. This is the third game in the tank since rebuying it. First time round, I never bothered getting an Ace Tanker in it. Not that I never bothered, I think maybe the fact was I just wasn't a very good player the first time I played the T-44. It was one of the tanks that I ground up to very, very quickly when I first started playing World of Tanks, and I absolutely hated the T-44. I thought it was a terrible, terrible tank. I played it from stock, played it with a new crew, had a terrible time with it, thought the armor was terrible, thought the gun was terrible, and I even rage quit a couple of times while playing the T-44. I absolutely hated this tank. I played it really, really badly, in retrospect, and as a result, I sold it immediately after unlocking the T-54, and I never wanted to play this piece of crap again. Since then, I've played a lot more games in World of Tanks. I've learned that the problem wasn't the T-44. The problem was me. I just didn't know how to play it. I didn't know how to play tanks to their strengths and weaknesses, and by all means, it seems that a lot of people have problems playing the T-44. I get a lot of messages asking me to put up T-44 footage on my channel, and I've put up T-44 games that people have submitted to me. They were very, very good games, but it still didn't entice me. It didn't make me want to rebuy this tank. I had such bad memories of it. I just remember everything being bad about this tank, and I didn't think this tank had any strengths at all. But it does. This tank does have strengths, it does have weaknesses, and I think if you're struggling in the T-44, maybe you need to look at your playstyle, because that was my problem first time round. This tank can snipe, but it's not a sniper. It's a medium tank, and you need to know how to play medium tanks to get the most out of the T-44. And as far as medium tanks goes, the T-44 is a heck of a lot stronger than I remember it being. I was such a bad player when I first played this tank, and I didn't do it justice. So I was happy to rebuy it. I rebought it on stream. This is the third game I played in the tank after rebuying it. In fact, I haven't played the T-44 again since then. I've been unwell. I haven't played very much World of Tanks since playing this game. It was a game that was played off stream. But what you need to know about the T-44 is it's a medium tank that doesn't have a lot of armor. You don't want to get hit in this tank. The strongest armor on the T-44 is the area around the gun mantlet. That's 130mm of penetration, which is fine going hull down against lower tier tanks, but against its own tier 9s, tier 10s, your armor means absolutely nothing. If you bounce any shots against higher tier tanks in the T-44, it'll be down to luck. Basically, it's got 90mm of frontal armor on the hull. It is angled, but as I say, again, against tier 9s, tier 10 tanks, they don't care about your 90mm of angled armor. But basically, other than 130mm of armor on the front of the turret, basically the rest of the tank differs between 90mm and 45mm, so you don't get a lot of armor in this tank, and yeah, shots that are aimed at you do tend to pen. So really, you got to play it very, very sneakily and try not to get hit in the first case. The gun is another thing I absolutely hated on the tank when I first started playing it. I'm using the final gun. It's got 175mm of penetration, 250 alpha damage, which again, the alpha damage is okay for a medium tank, but the penetration on a tier 8 tank that sees tier 9s and 10s absolutely sucked. I do remember trying to go head-to-head against tier 9s and 10s, E100s, E75s, and cursing the tank because my gun was crap. But that's, again, not a problem with the gun. That was a problem with me. You don't go head-to-head with this tank unless you know you can pen the enemy tanks. This is a medium tank. It's for getting to the sides and rear of enemy tanks, and then 175mm of pen is just fine. The premium ammo isn't great. It's okay, 235mm of penetration, but again, against tier 9s and 10s, the penetration on the premium ammo is going to struggle a little bit, but you've got to understand the strengths of the T-44 in order to understand how to play the T-44 well, and it has a lot of strengths I didn't realize it had first time round. The tank accelerates exceptionally well. It's got fast acceleration, it's got a good horsepower to weight ratio. The top speed of just over 50 kilometers an hour is very, very good, and the tank turns incredibly well. This is probably One of the higher tier medium tanks with the best reverse speed in the game. I'm not sure off the top of my head what it is, but this tank turns on a dime. It turns really well, it accelerates well, and its top speed is quite good. So as far as maneuverability goes, the T-44 is very, very good. And while I curse the gun and the penetration, the rate of fire is good, the accuracy is good for a Russian gun, and it has 7 degrees of gun depression, so you can actually use this on slopes. Not fantastic, but you can actually use it on slopes. So the gun is fine if you are picking and choosing your targets, if you understand weak spots, and if you can get to the sides and rear of enemy tanks. The, as I say, penetration is okay. The gun is a lot better than I remember. The tank is a lot better than I remember. And yeah, I'm just surprised at how good the T-44 is, considering I have such bad memories of the tank. Anyway, we are here on, what's this map? I have no idea. Mountain Pass. We are here on Mountain Pass, and I'm in a very, very favourable matchup. I'm a Tier 8 in a Tier 8 game. There are only 5 Tier 8s on either side, a couple of Tier 7s, but basically a lot of Tier 5s and 6s. So let's just get going. Now, as I say, really, sometimes when you struggle in a tank, don't blame the tank. I did when I first started playing World of Tanks. Sometimes you've just got to understand the tank. Be the tank. Become the tank. Spend some time learning about the strengths and weaknesses of the tank, and then play it to its strengths and work around its weaknesses. So there are a platoon of leopards on the enemy team, and I am moving across to intercept them. You can see I'm doing 46, 47 kilometers an hour along here. The acceleration and top speed of the tank are very, very good, and as I say, the traverse speed is excellent. 7 degrees of gun depression is going to mean I'm going to be able to get my gun down and get some shots on these guys very easily. So I want to try and take out the leopards, get one shot in. And I've actually been penned by a leopard, so the armor is not very good. And this matchup, the armor is actually quite good because of the fact I'm shooting lower tier tanks, and lower tier tanks are going to be shooting me. But we can just work here. Bounce to Type 62. So there seem to be a lot of enemy tanks sitting at E3, that's why I'm being a little bit cautious. And I believe this is while I was doing the Stug 4 missions. Been a while since I watched this game. There's kill number 2 on the platoon of leopards. Yeah, it's a Stug 4 mission. So, destroy 2 enemy medium tanks and survive the battle. So unfortunately there aren't very many medium tanks on the enemy team. So I'm pretty much giving up on the mission here as I move down to engage an Achilles. Now, again, you can see me side-scraping. My armor is going to be quite good against this tank. And my penetration is going to be fine against this tank. So, even though I absolutely hated this tank first time around, it's amazing what a little bit of knowledge can do for you. Understanding which tanks you can pen, which tanks you can't pen, which tanks you need to be aware of, which tanks, or where the weak spots in certain tanks are. So, side of a Tiger. No idea whether or not that shot went in. But I'm up against some Tier 7s now. I know that there's an ELC watching my back, which gives me the opportunity to do some work here. So just moving up, trying to use my gun depression, trying to spot this 112 on the enemy team. And trying not to get shot from E3. So there's a Tiger moving up. He's not looking at me, so I've got side shots. And you can see that when you've got side shots, when you've got rear shots, you don't need premium ammo, and the 175mm of penetration is very, very good. Went for a nice track shot in the 112, but he uses a repair kit. And now I get tracked by a Type 62. I use my repair kit because I want to track the 112 again. And I don't need to worry about him. Oh, that Type 62 spamming heat. Hey, enjoy your 4,200 credits a shot. So 189 damage, 4,200 credits. That's what it costs to fire heat in a Type 62. That's why I think the premium ammo on a Type 62 is a complete and utter waste of time. But I do notice that E25 took out our ELC on the 2 line, so I noticed the E25. I'm setting up an ambush here. Unfortunately, I'm down to, I've lost half my hit points, but being patient here, setting up for an ambush. I reckon this E25 is a good player, but he's going to try and flank me. At least that's what I'd do if I was in his shoes. So we're just being patient, setting up an ambush. There he is, get a snapshot in, reduce him to a 1-hit kill. And now I can engage this E25, but unfortunately a KV-2 has appeared. Now this KV-2 is using a derp gun, and he's capable of 1-hit killing me. If he gets a high penetrating roll, hits the front of my tank, I'm a 1-hit kill. So, 2 fairly dangerous tanks in front of me. And I really want to engage the E25 without getting hit by the KV-2. And this sequence of play here is where you get to see the maneuverability, you get to see the acceleration. I could have gone for a snapshot there, but I noticed the E25 is flanking. So this is where the tank shows off its maneuverability. It turns well, it turns quickly, it accelerates well. It's 2 versus 1, and as I say, the KV-2 is the tank I'm more worried about because he can 1-hit kill me. So I'm get him to come out. He fires a shot, I track him in place. That means I can go to work on the E25, but the E25's a good player. He runs for it. I know that the KV-2 is still reloading, so I get to put another shot into the KV-2. Again, don't know how good the crew on a KV-2 is, so not going to hang around and risk a third shot, and I'll go and engage the E25 again. But you see that I can play these 2 tanks against each other. Move up. Okay, E25 is still running, but the KV-2 is badly angled. Can sneak another shot in, 175mm of pen, easy to penetrate the side of a KV-2 at that angle. And now I've got a Studa moving up to support me. He's a 1-hit kill, but E25 is setting up an ambush, but I'm able to just reverse, get a shot into him. And that's where you saw, I covered it in the E25 review. The E25's gun is mounted on the right side of the tank. So quite often you can get a shot into the left side of an E25 before he can get his gun on target. But if we take out the KV-2, I'm on 5 kills, I'm on 3,520 damage. I did fire a couple of blind shots, so my damage is actually higher. But while I was playing around with the KV-2, while I was playing around with the E25, unfortunately all the tanks that went up the ice road have died. It is now 2v2, and the Type 62 on the enemy team's on quite a lot of health. So with the Studa behind me, Studa is a 1-hit kill. Basically what I'm doing now is the Studa is going to be setting up on the corner. I want to get spots for the Studa. So, don't have the best of view range. This tank only has 380 meters of view range, which is actually quite good, but I do recommend coated optics or binocs on the tank. Coated optics, actually, is much better than binocs. So, poke up, get a spot, get a shot into the WZ-111. I've switched to premium ammo now for the very first time, because now the WZ knows I'm here. I'm not going to be getting side shots into him. I'm going to have to pen him frontally. So I decide I'm going to fall back and I'm going to actually flank. While the Studa has my back, I'm going to see if I can flank, because I figure the Type 62 is flanking. But no, the Type 62 came to hunt me down. So I advance, waiting to drop off radar, still moving backwards. Come on, no, he's disappeared. And didn't need to do any of that because the Studa gets a beautiful shot into the Type 62. I congratulate the Studa in chat. That suddenly made this a very, very easy game. So, I just want to come up. I've got the hit points now to be able to take 1, maybe even 2 shots from the WZ. So I don't really mind if he shoots me once. I've got my premium shot loaded. 5 kills, I want my Top Gun. So I get to his side. Probably going to take a hit here. Yeah, don't even force him to, try to get him to miss, try to get him to bounce, but took the hit. killed him with a shot through the lower glacis, finished up with Top Gun, and as I say, that's the third game I've played in the T-44 since rebuying it, and it's amazing what a little bit of knowledge does for you. When you understand the strengths and weaknesses of the T-44, it's actually quite a good tank. Don't know whether it's worth keeping, especially if you do unlock the T-54 Tier 9, because the T-54 is just an amazing tank, but T-44 is definitely not as bad as the nightmares it gave me first time round. Okay folks, as this is part of the 1.5k subscriber special week, this video also has a question. This is question day 4. This channel is mainly World of Tanks related, and I try to keep a promise of maybe putting up one World of Tanks, at least one World of Tanks video a day. Sometimes I put up 2, but usually it's going to be one World of Tanks video a day. And on top of that, occasionally I do miss a day here and there because of real life commitments. But yeah, I'd say on average I release at least one World of Tanks video a day. Now, occasionally I do release other videos for other games, but I want you to remember, even though a lot of those videos get thumbed down, if you do get a video from another game, it's a bonus video. It doesn't take the place of whatever World of Tanks video is going up that day. Even if I do release a video from another game, it will be on top or in addition to the video I put up for World of Tanks. So yeah, I just can't play one game all the time. It would drive me absolutely crazy. So I do play other games occasionally, and I do put up footage from other games occasionally. But just remember, it's never ever going to take the place of World of Tanks, because, as I say, this channel is always going to be World of Tanks primarily. And in that vein, that's today's question. What is your favorite nation? Okay, I'm not asking you what your favorite tank is. You know, your favorite tank could be the STB-1. I haven't played that tank yet. It looks very, very good, but I hate the Japanese lines. So even though if the STB-1 turned out to be my favorite tank ever, it wouldn't make the Japanese my favorite nation. What I want to know is, what is your favorite nation in World of Tanks? It's a balanced question. You got to take into consideration things like the TD line, the medium tank line, the light tank line, arty, if you play arty. What is your favorite nation and why? That's the question for today. And hope you guys do well. Hope you guys have a lot of interesting answers. And let's get on with the stats. So this was an ace tanker in my third game in the T-44 after rebuying it, and as I say, first time round I played hundreds of games in this tank. Didn't get the ace tanker because I just didn't understand the tank. Now I know more about the game, I know more about the tank, and I understand how you need to play the T-44. I picked up a Top Gun for that effort as well. Finished top on XP with 1409, 4059 damage and 6 kills. Yeah, I mean, the gun is fine. If you're shooting lower tier tanks, the gun is fine. If you're up against higher tier tanks, don't try to engage them frontally unless you know you can pen them. Otherwise, try and get to the side and rear like a typical medium tank should. 21 shots fired, 19 hits, 19 penetrations. As I say, a decent amount of damage. I received 9 hits and 5 bounced, but don't ever expect this sort of performance from your armor. I was top tier with a lot of lower tier tanks shooting at me, and a lot of those lower tier tanks were leopards. So your armor is never going to be this good. Your armor is terrible. Try to play this tank so you don't get hit. But I spotted 1, damaged 8, destroyed 6, did 1,000 assistance damage, and ended up earning 48,000 credits with a premium account. 2,113 XP on a ×2. As I say, third game in the tank, so I played 2 after rebuying the tank on stream. This was played the day after I streamed. It was the first game of the tank, and I finished up with 4,226 XP. So really, really happy. This is probably one of the tanks you guys have helped me out with. I hated this tank, sold it, started the YouTube channel long after selling the T-44, and you guys sent me in a lot of T-44 replays, and I learned a lot from watching you guys how to play the tank. I learned from you guys. I learned from the replays you sent in to such a point where I decided to rebuy the tank myself. And the fact is, I've played 3 games in it since rebuying it, and I've had 3 very good games on the T-44 since rebuying it. I just shows how helpful you guys can be when I'm struggling in a tank, and you guys just show me what you can do or what the tank is capable of. So yeah, I think the T-44 is actually pretty solid. Ask me that question, or if you asked me that question a couple of months ago, I would have told you the T-44 was terrible. I think it's okay. I think the armor is not very good. I think the gun has problems, but I think it's actually quite good. But the main thing about this tank is its speed, its maneuverability, and its traverse speed. This thing can turn and accelerate so well. It's a very, very good medium tank. So once again, question for today, just before I finish the video, is what is your favorite nation in World of Tanks? Hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you next time.